WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. There will be no indictment in the shooting death of Columbus Mayor Robert Smith's grandson.
That's right. Smith's grandson was charged after the deadly shooting. WCBI Selena Schaefer speaks with Davius Smith's attorney following the grand jury's decision. She has the very latest.
It was back in December when Davius Richard Smith was charged with murder for the death of his father. Today, he's free of all charges.
As I stated when this first started, my client was acting in self-defense. And today is just a vindication of the system. The system works.
Smith was accused of shooting and killing his father, Mayor Robert Smith's son. The shooting happened December 14th at the Smith home in Temple Cove, just off Highway 69. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation worked the case. Smith's attorney, Rod Ray, praises their work.
Great investigators investigated this case thoroughly. We cooperated from the beginning. The grand jury, which I have a lot of faith in, saw that there was no crime here, that this was self-defense.
A Lowndes County grand jury returned a no bill in the case, meaning there was not enough evidence to warrant prosecution.
He was defending himself and his mother. It's a sad situation. It's terrible that a life was lost, in particular my client's father. But he was defending himself, which he has the right to do, and which the grand jury found that he had the right to do.
Smith was previously a nursing student at EMCC. There's no word yet on whether or not he'll be returning to school. Reporting in Columbus, Selena Schaefer, WCBI News.
The woman accused of putting menstrual blood on a hamburger bun is indicted by a grand jury. Sky Samuel was indicted for selling unwholesome bread. A witness told Columbus investigators Samuel put her hand down her pants and touched a hamburger bun that was served to a customer. Prosecutors allege the incident occurred at Jack's on Highway 45 in Columbus in January of this year. Jack's apparently fired Samuel for an unrelated incident before being notified about the bloody hamburger bun by another former employee. A no trial date has been set.
A Columbus man will go to trial after being indicted for murder. Barry Allen Boozer was indicted for murder by a Lowndes County grand jury. The stabbing happened in November of 2016. 34-year-old Robert Elliott Thomas was found at America's Best Value Inn on Highway 45. He later died at the hospital. Police say Thomas and Boozer got into an argument in Boozer's hotel room. Investigators say the two knew each other and Thomas was a visitor in Boozer's room.
Shannon police are looking for a gunman after a Sunday night shooting that leaves 3 people injured. Witnesses tell officers a car pulled up next to another vehicle near the Busy Bee convenience store and shots were fired. Danny Gilbert, the driver of the car that was targeted, was shot in the face about 9:30 p.m. He was taken to North Mississippi Medical Center. 2 passengers in his car were also injured. The extent of their injuries are not known at this time. Police recovered shell casings from a rifle and are looking at surveillance video from the store and nearby car wash. Anyone with information should call Shannon Police.
The Mississippi State community is remembering the life of a track team member killed in a crash over the weekend.
Our Jory Talley was there and joins us live in the studio with more. Jory.
22-year-old Kaylin Kirsch's coach and teammates joined her friends and other student athletes to grieve and remember her life. Kaylin Kirsch's coach and teammates came out to the vigil along with friends and other student athletes to grieve the loss of the young woman. The MSU senior and track and field athlete was the backseat passenger of a car that collided with the MHP SUV around 1 a.m. Sunday morning. The wreck took place at the intersection of Highway 182 and Old Mayhew Road near Clayton Village. Kirsch was pronounced dead at the scene. The Fellowship of Christian Athletes held the vigil for the athletic community to help get through this difficult time.
We use the term family here around Mississippi State a lot, and it's one thing to talk about family, but it's another thing to live family. And our coaches around this campus do an incredible job of being at each other's events, and especially in these times of mourning, being there for other teams. So it is huge around here.
The driver of the car, 21-year-old Noel Collier, is listed in fair condition at a Jackson hospital. 22-year-old Taniqua Alexander is also in fair condition at North Mississippi Medical. The Mississippi Highway Patrol is still investigating the crash. The unexpected death of Kaylin Kirsch hit the Mississippi State track team particularly hard. The MSU women's track and field team is successful in competition. Their talents, along with their bond, is how their coach says they've made that possible. Hardworking, determined, a great person, always smiling, is how Kaylin Kirsch is remembered. From graduation on Friday night to tragic loss 48 hours later, this community of student athletes is in tears. Coach Steve Dudley says one step forward, one speed ahead, and one day at a time is how the tight-knit group will cope with the devastating loss.
I think group and family would be the way to just say it, because if you single any of us out by itself, not very strong. I think we're much more strong when we're collective and we're together, and that's what we've been able to do.
On Wednesday, the team heads to the SEC track competition. Coach Dudley says when the funeral arrangements are announced, the team will do whatever they can to make it back for the services. Audrey and Joey.
It's been 3 days since a warehouse containing 2.2 million pounds of polyfoam burned in Houston. The Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality is testing air and soil samples at the property. Waste pickup was scheduled for today. However, crews were still out evaluating the amount of waste. Crews expect the lot to be cleared by the end of the week. Time now to turn our attention to weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson joins us with a first look at your forecast.
Joey, right now we are picture perfect, sunny, warm, 82 degrees. The dew point fairly low, pretty dry air out there. We love this kind of stuff, warm but dry air. We know how soupy it can get around here. Low 80s in most spots at this hour. And as you can see with the satellite, there is no issues whatsoever here in the deep south. So enjoy your evening. We're looking at low 80s now through 7 o'clock. And then by 11 o'clock, we're in the 60s. Lows tonight will be into the 50s. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
New at 6 tonight, Starkville's Ward 1 alderman's race is now headed to a runoff after the Republican Executive Committee reverses its stance on affidavit ballots. GOP leaders met today and decided that only one of those 3 contested affidavit ballots will count. That means the race between incumbent Ben Carver and challenger Jason Camp is now tied at 104 each. The race will go before voters again next Tuesday. Now, Camp originally led by 1 vote before the county committee allowed 2 affidavit ballots to count, giving Carver an apparent 1-vote win. Well, today that decision was made to only count one of the contested ballots, and that brings the race to a dead heat. Camp tells WCBI that this is not the fault of any candidate. He says there was not a clear understanding of the election law.
There's a dispute over ballots in another Golden Triangle town. Some elected officials are claiming people were manipulating Columbus absentee ballots. State Representative Kabir Karim and Lowndes County Supervisor Leroy Brooks made statements today in 3 of the 5 Columbus races this past Tuesday. One candidate received an overwhelming majority of the absentee ballots. In 2 of those races, the candidate who got the most absentee votes was trailing after the machine voting tally.
I am familiar with how these ballots are manipulated, and that's a great concern with me. People should not be disenfranchised, and the intent of their votes should count. Not someone going in marking the ballot for them and they not being aware of it. That should never happen.
That does raise some alarm, and not just me personally from my seat. It's just bringing awareness to folks who are voting by absentees to make sure that your vote is being counted for the person that you wanted to vote for.
There were nearly 1,000 absentee ballots in last Tuesday's Columbus primary races. That's more than 1/5 of all the votes.
The Columbus School Board will discuss the superintendent's future tonight. Philip Hickman's contract has been a topic for a few weeks now.
It has. Our Tommy Lopez joins us live from tonight's meeting with the latest. Tommy.
Board members tell us that they hope to make a decision tonight on whether to extend Philip Hickman's contract. It would happen here behind me at the regularly scheduled meeting for the Columbus Municipal School District Board. Now, the 2 sides have been in talks about the details of this contract since last month. The school board voted 3 weeks ago to have its lawyer draft an amendment to the contract. We do not know the details of that amendment nor the details of this agreement as it stands now. Columbus hired Hickman in 2014 to be superintendent. He's been making $175,000 a year and is expected to stay in this position at least through the spring of next year. We'll be at the meeting tonight, and we'll have the details coming up at 9 and 10 o'clock. Live in Columbus, Tommy Lopez, WCBI News.
All right, thanks, Tommy, for that update. Well, an area ministry is taking a stab at TV for kids.
Premiere when we come back. Welcome back. A Tupelo ministry is stepping into some new territory with the release of an animated series for children.
Our Allie Martin was at the premiere and has more on the project.
It was a packed house at Tupelo's Malco Theater for the premiere of Ryan DeFrades' Secret Agent.
Ryan is a secret agent, skillful, though he mostly wants to go it alone.
The animated children's series is the brainchild of brother and sister duo Jeremy and Kendra White. Kendra works for American Family Studios, which is part of American Family Association.
So you've got Ryan DeFrades. He is a spy and he thinks he knows everything. He is super cool, but he has a lot to learn. He gets partnered with his mom, Deb DeFrades, and she is a coupon-cutting, purse-swirling, fierce mama who is just wise and loving.
There are also villains such as Granny, who creates an exploding hot sauce, and Cackle the Clown, who has a cupcake launcher. Each episode creates a theme targeting kids and families with a biblical message.
A lot of people might say that we have an agenda. We do have an agenda. We want to bring truth to your families and a positive and encouraging message.
This is the first animated project for American Family Studios. AFS has partnered with Texas-based Cat in the Mill Studios for animation and development of the 13-part series. Robert Fernandez and his studio brought the series from the storyboard stage to the finished product.
It's like a Saturday morning cartoon style. And so what we had to do is we developed the characters. Once we got the script, it was what do the characters look like? What are they going to wear? What kind of expressions are they going to have? And really give the characters life and a soul.
As director of American Family Studios, Jeff Chambly oversees all projects. He says Ryan DeFrades' Secret Agent is part of the ministry's mission.
For years, American Family Association has been active in cleaning up media and taking bad material and bad media off and working with advertisers to do that. This is one of the times we're reaching forward and we're offering something that is wholesome for families. It's got great moral values and a strong Christian worldview.
So far, 3 episodes of Ryan DeFrades' Secret Agent are complete. The series is available on DVD and several networks are interested in carrying it. In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Work on the remaining 10 episodes is underway. More information is at our website, WCBI.com.
It's May, so the lower 48 is really warming up. Omaha, Nebraska right now, 92. Now there's a big storm system out west, out here across the Rockies. That will give us a chance for some storms later this week. More on that after the break.
Your first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Picture perfect weather in Tupelo right now. Sunny, 82 degrees. The air is pretty dry out there. It's going to be a great Monday evening as we look forward. More sun and warmth overall for the next 7 days, pushing 90 Wednesday. Now I say overall for the next 7 days because we will have a chance for some rain Thursday night into Friday with our next system coming our way. Sweeping around with live Doppler radar, no problems whatsoever. You can see all these big storms erupting along the Front Range. This is hail territory here in eastern Colorado and eastern New Mexico. Let's come on in and show you where the hail reports have been today. This has been the big story today. some as big as baseballs in Metro Denver. Let's go back to 3:30. That storm right there, it moved across the Denver metro area right through downtown Denver, dropping tons and tons of hail. And you can see the hail swath right here. When you see those dark colors, the black showing up, that's that big hail that fell out there earlier today. Now that system is actually going to give us a chance for storms later this week, and you can see that swirl down here in Arizona. This actually did produce some snow in Southern California this weekend, so there's some energy with it. It's going to tap into some moisture. Right now, it's pretty dry out there, but notice these brighter colors down in the tropics. That is deep tropical moisture that's going to be pulled to the north because an area of high pressure will be moving away. So moisture creeps back in, that system comes on in from the west, and that will all team up to give us a chance for some showers and storms Thursday evening, Thursday night, and Friday. The best chance for strong storms here would likely be Thursday evening, Thursday night. Probably some gusty wind and hail if we happen to see anything like that. Better chance for widespread severe weather to our west Thursday and Thursday evening. So we'll just see how it all plays out as it gets a little bit closer to us. Of course, we'll be watching that right here. Right now, no issues. Low 80s to mid 80s here across the Twin States. And here's our forecast for Tuesday, 8 o'clock, sunny and 65. Low 80s for your lunch hour. Winds from the southwest tomorrow at 5 to 10, so not bad. 87 degrees, the forecast high average here. So 87 for you in Tupelo, maybe 88 in Pontotoc, 87 in Starkville, West Point, and Macon and Louisville, 86 in Vernon, Alabama. High pressure in control. There's that system getting a little bit closer to us by the middle of the week. And once we get into late Thursday, it will swing on in here. Here's our 7-day forecast. So just like summer for the next couple of days, pretty warm, mid to upper 80s to around 90. Storms Thursday night into Friday, a little bit cooler Friday, but 80s and sun again for the weekend.
All right, thanks, Keith. Coming up, we preview this week in SEC baseball, plus a look at the upcoming baseball and fast pitch softball playoffs. Next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The road to Omaha awaits as we're getting closer and closer to getting to the point where we start figuring out regional hosts, which MSU is starting to look like a regional host, and the teams that will be playing in those certain regionals, and Hoover very nearly here as well. Here's the newest college baseball polls. We start with the USA Today coaches poll. MSU is now up to 9. Highest SEC team is Florida at 5. MSU does hold that win over Texas Tech earlier in the season, which has helped their RPI. LSU, Auburn, Arkansas also in that top 20 as well. Keep an eye on Southern Miss. They're 21. They've been rolling through Conference USA, and they got a sweep over Florida Atlantic over the weekend. Where MSU lies in the baseball rankings, 6th and 7th in the top polls in Baseball America, Collegiate Baseball, and D1. And Perfect Game has the Bulldogs at 13. You're up to the minute SEC baseball standings. MSU is back on top with Florida at 16-8 in the conference. Kentucky and LSU are 1 game behind. Arkansas is a game and a half behind. You see Ole Miss currently in 6th right now at 11-13. Rebels going to need to get a couple wins because right now they're sort of on the bubble of making it into a regional. Got good, strong numbers, but probably want to get towards the 500 mark in the conference to feel really secure about getting into a regional. Now, who are our teams in the state of Mississippi playing this week? Bulldogs will be playing the Bulldogs. We'll have a dog party in Athens. Georgia and Mississippi State starting on Friday. The Saturday game will be on the SEC Network. For Ole Miss, they will have Texas A&M coming into Oxford as the final series of the season at Swayze. The Saturday, Sunday games will be on TV. We will have highlights, recap it all for you throughout the weekend right here on WCBI Sports. To fast pitch and baseball playoff action, we're starting to get everything set for our state championships in Ridgeland. For fast pitch, baseball, 1 more game remains before we have our North and South half finals all set. Now in fast pitch, the state championships, some of them are already set and ready to go. Tupelo will take on Harrison Central. The Neshoba and Kosciuszko are all in, so we don't have any area teams in 5A and 4A. In Class 3A, we know Moorville will be back taking on Choctaw Central. East Union Manatachee will have highlights of that game coming up tonight. They're playing a Game 2 and Game 3 if necessary today from up at East Union. At last check, the Tatch was up in the 5th inning. And Hamilton will be going to play for a state championship as they got past Smithville in a great series. They will take on Bogachita, who's been there quite often before. Fast pitch state championships, by the way, begin on Wednesday. North half finals for baseball. Tupelo's in it. We don't know who's going to be in 5A. It'll be Oxford, possibly. Maybe New Hope can beat Germantown tonight. We'll have highlights of the Trojans coming up at 10. Ripley and Corinth in 4A. In Class 3A, Moorville, Kasu. 2A is a Union County showdown. And in 1A, could have an all-area state championship. TCPS Smithville, or what about Nanawa? They'll have to wait to see who will win between Ethel and Resurrection Catholic. And lastly to football, one of the top up-and-coming receivers from our area has verbally committed. That's soon-to-be senior New Hope, Jeremy Tate, who was committed to play at Memphis for the Tigers. Tate broke onto the scene a season ago, hauling in 46 catches for 727 yards and 11 touchdowns. A 6'4" receiver also has an offer from South Alabama, amongst other junior colleges. And two other quick notes for you, Joey and Andrea. Ole Miss assistant basketball coach Bill Armstrong is headed to LSU. He was on the staff with AK since 2006, and an early signing period has been approved by the Collegiate Commissioners Association starting December 20th this year, a full 2 months ahead of National Signing Day.
That's big.
Keep an eye on that. We'll talk about that more in 10. Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
Sunny and warm for the next few days here. Some rain chances Thursday evening and Friday, and there you have it, another nice weekend.
It looks perfect again.
Yeah, there you go.
I was going to say, a great-looking forecast.
We
The
just
rain
had a
comes
great
in at night.
weekend, and another nice one coming up.
Good work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody.